Have you ever paused in the middle of a busy day when the phone stops ringing, the house grows still, and the world outside seems far away and wondered quietly, what really matters now? Not yesterday. Not decades ago. But now, in this stage of life, with silver in your hair and stories written deep into your hands. If you're between the ages of 50 and 80, this message is for you. Not to remind you of what you've lost but to help you remember what you still hold. Because the truth is, we often spend our younger years chasing things that eventually prove hollow. Success. Applause. Control. But as the years go by, life gently teaches us a different lesson, that true peace comes not from holding tighter but from knowing what to hold dear and what to let go of. In today's video, we'll walk together through 7 quiet truths that may seem simple at first, but carry the weight of a lifetime. You'll discover 5 kinds of people worth holding close, no matter what, and 3 things that only bring freedom once we learn to release them. These are not just ideas. They are lessons born from real moments, from aging parents and distant children, from broken hearts and lifelong friends, from the strength it takes to grow old with grace. So I invite you to stay with me not as a student, but as someone who has already lived deeply and loved deeply. And if at any point this message touches your heart, I gently ask you to do 3 things. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss a moment that brings warmth, clarity, or comfort. Share this video with someone you love because these truths are not meant to be kept, but passed on. And leave a comment below, quiet or bold, long or short, because your voice might be the one someone else needs to hear today. What you're about to hear isn't just advice. It's a quiet map for how to live wisely, love deeply, and let go gently. Take a deep breath and stay with me until the end. I promise you, it's worth it. The first person to cherish: your parents. There is a wisdom in aging that we don't fully understand until our own parents begin to fade before our eyes. You see, in our younger years, we often take them for granted. We assume they'll always be there waiting by the phone, making quiet meals in the kitchen, repeating the same advice they've given 100 times before. But slowly, life reveals a painful truth: there will come a day when we can no longer hear their voices, feel their hands, or sit beside them at the dinner table. And when that day comes, many of us are left not with peace but with questions. Did I visit enough? Did I listen enough? Did I love them the way they loved me? If you are still fortunate enough to have one or both parents in your life, please pause and recognize the quiet miracle of that. Because no matter how old you are, no matter how far you've come, there is no substitute for the love of the people who gave you life. Our parents are not perfect. They made mistakes. They sometimes failed to understand us. But they are the only people on this earth who have loved us since the moment we were born, without condition, without hesitation, and often without thanks. In American culture, there's a silent epidemic of aging parents growing old in isolation. Adult children move across states, careers consume our attention, and technology becomes our way of saying, "I care," through brief text messages or scheduled phone calls. But here's a truth many realize too late: no bouquet of flowers can replace your physical presence, and no phone call can substitute the warmth of your hand in theirs. I once worked with an elderly man, Charles, whose health was failing after his wife passed. He had 3 children, successful, well-educated, and living across the country. They called him once a week. Sent him holiday gifts. But he told me, with tears in his eyes, "What I really want is for them to sit with me. Just sit with me. Let me look at their faces. Let me ask them how they are doing, not through a screen, but with a cup of tea in hand." There is something sacred about the time we give our parents. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It doesn't require speeches or apologies. Sometimes it's simply sitting in silence together, watching the same old show, cooking a familiar dish, or listening to their stories for the 100th time, even if they've forgotten they've told them before. And what about those who no longer have parents in this world? You can still honor them. Through the way you live. Through the kindness you pass down. Through the memories you keep alive in your heart and your home. To cherish your parents doesn't mean idolizing them or pretending they never failed. It means remembering their sacrifices, forgiving their flaws, and carrying their love forward. In many Eastern traditions, filial piety, respect for one's parents, is considered the root of all virtue. And while the world we live in today may move faster, may seem more individualistic, the human need for connection with those who raised us remains timeless. So if you've been meaning to call your mother, do it today. If you haven't seen your father in months, schedule that visit. If you've held on to resentment for too long, perhaps now is the time to soften your heart, not just for them, but for your own peace. Because time has one cruel rule: it only moves in one direction. But love, if nurtured, can echo through generations. Cherish your parents while they are still with you. And if they are gone, cherish their memory in the way you speak, the way you love, and the way you live. The second person to cherish: your children. There's a quiet moment that happens to almost every parent. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It happens in the middle of an ordinary day, maybe while washing dishes or folding laundry, when you suddenly realize your child is no longer a child. Their little hands have grown into working hands. Their questions have become decisions. And the very person who once looked at you as their entire world is now building a world of their own. It's in that moment, often unexpected and tender, that many of us are hit with a wave of both pride and ache. You see, to have children is to watch your heart walk around outside your body. You feed them, clothe them, teach them, discipline them. You sacrifice time, sleep, money, and often your own dreams just so they might have a better life than you had. That's what most parents want, isn't it? But in this pursuit of giving them everything, something delicate can quietly slip away: your presence. In today's fast-moving world, many parents spend their most vibrant years working endlessly, trying to create stability and success. And in doing so, they often give their children all the things they never had, but not enough of the one thing their children need most: their time. Let me tell you a story. A man named Robert, a former client of mine, had built a respectable business from scratch. By the time he was in his 50s, he had 3 homes, 2 cars, and the kind of financial security most dream about. But when we met, he wasn't celebrating. He was broken. His son, barely 20, had dropped out of school. His daughter refused to speak to him. And when I asked Robert what he thought went wrong, he said quietly, "I was a provider. But I wasn't present." He had chased security and lost connection. He had planned for the future, but missed the present. And here's the hard truth many parents must face in later life: you cannot go back and re-raise your children. You cannot return to those evenings when they asked to play while you were too tired. You cannot rewind to the dinner table and have that conversation you avoided. But what you can do at any stage is start again with presence. Children, even as adults, still long for connection. They may no longer need you to tie their shoes, but they still want your approval. They may not live under your roof, but they still crave your blessing, your encouragement, your attention. Too often, parents look at their grown children and see only what's gone wrong: bad choices, rebellion, disconnection. But very few stop to ask, where did I stop showing up? And to those who feel hurt because your children have grown distant, try not to take it as rejection. It may be life pulling them in 1,000 directions. It may be their own pain they are not yet ready to voice. But even if they don't say it aloud, even if they seem uninterested, they still need to know you love them. Not because they've succeeded. Not because they made you proud. But simply because they are yours. When we cherish our children not as extensions of our ego, but as human beings with their own paths, we plant seeds of belonging, of trust, and of love that will grow long after we are gone. So what can you do now? Be the one to reach out first. Apologize if you must. Forgive if you're able. Write a letter, send a message, or better yet, sit down face to face. Tell them the things you think they already know but may have never heard. Because children grow up. But deep down, they never stop needing their parents. And you? You may be older, wiser, and even more tired than you used to be. But you still have the most precious gift of all to offer. Your heart. Your attention. Your presence. So give it freely. Because one day, they will remember not what you bought them, but how you made them feel. Cherish your children not just when they are young and easy to love, but especially when they are difficult, distant, or growing into someone you don't quite understand. Because that is when they need your love the most. The third person to cherish: your life partner. There's a moment that arrives quietly in every long-term relationship. It doesn't come with a grand event or celebration. It comes in the silence, when the children have left home, when the house is quieter than before, and when you look across the room at the one person who has seen every version of you and is still there. That is your life partner. When we are young, love feels like a storm, passionate, wild, exciting. But as we grow older, love changes. It becomes quieter, but deeper. It no longer shouts. It stays. And yet, in that quiet, so many forget to listen. So many forget to see. It's easy to take a life partner for granted, especially after decades together. You stop saying thank you. You stop asking about their day. You forget that underneath the familiar routine lies a soul who still longs to be seen, heard, and valued, not just as a spouse, but as a human being. Too often, people spend a lifetime chasing external success, yet neglect the one person who was always there in the shadows, cooking meals, paying bills, caring for the children, holding your hand in doctor's offices, waiting quietly through your storms. They've been with you when you had nothing. And now that you have more, ask yourself, are they still your priority? I once counseled a woman named Elaine who had been married for over 40 years. She told me something I'll never forget. My husband and I used to talk about everything. Now, we only talk about groceries and bills. It wasn't that they didn't love each other. It was that life had buried that love under 1,000 ordinary things. But when her husband fell ill, she sat by his side every day. She read him books, played his favorite songs. And when he passed, she whispered, "I wish we had spoken more before it was too late." Don't let that be your story. Because the truth is, a life partner is not someone you find once. They are someone you keep choosing. Every day. Even when they frustrate you. Even when they've changed. Even when you've changed. Marriage, companionship, partnership, whatever form it takes, it is a sacred journey. You begin as strangers. You walk through seasons of joy, grief, boredom, success, and disappointment. And if you're lucky, you grow old together, not just in body, but in understanding. In today's world, it's tempting to walk away at the first sign of trouble. But lasting love isn't about perfection. It's about commitment. It's about two imperfect people who choose to stay, who choose to forgive, and who choose to remember why they chose each other in the first place. There will be days when your partner annoys you. There will be nights when you feel alone, even while lying next to them. But the strength of a relationship is not measured in the absence of conflict. It is measured by the presence of grace. So speak kindly even when it's easier to be silent. Hold their hand even when it's shaking. Ask about their dreams even if they say they don't have any left. Make them laugh even if they've forgotten how. Tell them, "I see you. I still choose you." Because one day, you'll look at their empty chair and wish you had one more chance to do all of that again. Cherishing your life partner is not about grand gestures. It's about showing up. Staying. Choosing love in the quiet, ordinary moments, the ones no one else sees. So if you're lucky enough to have someone sleeping beside you tonight, don't let another evening pass without whispering something simple. Something that costs nothing, but means everything. Thank you for being here. I still love you. Let's keep going. Because in the end, it's not about finding the perfect person. It's about becoming the kind of person who knows how to love truly, deeply, and for a lifetime. The fourth person to cherish, your teacher. In every life well lived, there is at least one person, sometimes more, who did not give you food, shelter, or money, but gave you something far more enduring, a new way of seeing the world. That person is your teacher. Now, when we say teacher, we often think of classrooms, chalkboards, and report cards. But a true teacher is something more. A true teacher is anyone who opens your mind. Anyone who challenges you to grow. Anyone who helps you become a better version of yourself, even if only in small, quiet ways. If you think back over your life, you'll probably remember not the lessons from textbooks, but the faces of those who spoke into your life with belief and care. I remember meeting a retired gentleman named Harold, who once told me, "The best gift I ever received wasn't a watch or a car, it was one sentence from my high school teacher. She looked me in the eye and said, 'You are more than your mistakes.'" I was 17. That moment stayed with me for 50 years. That's the kind of power a teacher holds. Not the power to grade, but the power to ignite. To remind us of our worth when the world forgets. To hold up a mirror that reflects back not just who we are but who we might become. In many cultures, especially in Asia, teachers are honored almost as second parents. There's a saying in Vietnamese: one day as a teacher, a lifetime as a parent. Because while your parents give you life, your teachers give you vision. And yet, in today's fast-paced, status-driven world, it's easy to forget the debt we owe to those who shaped our minds and hearts. We focus so much on success, on who earns more, who rises higher, that we sometimes forget who helped us rise at all. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, you likely remember a time when teachers were revered. You remember walking into classrooms with quiet respect. You remember handwritten notes, firm correction, and wise encouragement. Now, maybe those teachers are gone. Maybe they are living quietly somewhere. Or maybe they've passed on. But the lessons they left in you are still alive. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to honor that. How? You can write a letter to the teacher who changed your life, even if they'll never read it. You can share their story with your grandchildren. You can pass on what they taught you, not just the facts, but the values, integrity, discipline, kindness, resilience. You can become the teacher to someone else. Because the greatest way to honor a teacher is to become one yourself. Every time you show patience to someone younger than you, you teach. Every time you encourage instead of criticize, you teach. Every time you speak with wisdom and through hardship, you teach. So many older adults believe their time of influence is over. That no one wants to hear from them anymore. That the world has moved on. But I'm here to tell you, you are the classroom now. And your life is the lesson. So speak up. Share your stories. Pass on what life has taught you. The world needs your voice, perhaps now more than ever. And if you still carry the voice of a teacher in your heart, don't let it go unheard. Let it guide your steps. Let it soften your judgments. Let it remind you that someone, somewhere, once believed in you before you believed in yourself. That is not a small thing. That is a sacred thing. Cherish your teachers. Honor their legacy. And when the opportunity arises, become one not by profession, but by presence. Because teaching is not what you do. It's who you are when you choose to lift someone up instead of letting them fall. The fifth person to cherish, your true friend. There's a certain kind of silence that settles in later life. The children grow up and move away. The career that once kept you busy begins to fade. And the social circles you once moved in become smaller, more scattered. But if you are lucky, truly lucky, there is still one voice that remains. One number you can call without hesitation. One person who knows your stories, your struggles, your small joys, and still chooses to stay. That person is your true friend. Now, not every friend is a true friend. We meet hundreds of people in our lifetime. Many of them are companions of circumstance, co-workers, neighbors, classmates, acquaintances. They smile at our successes, laugh at our jokes, and disappear the moment life gets complicated. But a true friend. A true friend is someone who sees behind your mask and loves you anyway. Someone who doesn't need you to be impressive, perfect, or powerful. They just need you to be real. And as we grow older, we begin to realize that these people are rare. They can't be bought. They can't be forced. They show up in moments when everyone else walks away. I once met a woman named Margaret at a senior center in Oregon. She had survived cancer, buried her husband, and was living alone. When I asked her what helped her get through those lonely nights, she smiled and said, "My friend Helen. We talk every Sunday at 7. She knows everything. I mean everything. And she still answers the phone." That's what a true friend does. They answer the phone especially when no one else does. They don't need fancy dinners or yearly reunions. Sometimes, all it takes is a quiet text, a shared memory, or a simple, "I'm here." But here's the quiet tragedy I've seen too many times. We assume our true friends will always be there. Until they're not. We postpone that call. We cancel that coffee. We tell ourselves, "I'll reach out next week." And then weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. And before we know it, we are sitting at a memorial, whispering to ourselves, "I should have done more." Please don't wait for grief to remind you how much someone meant to you. Friendship is not something we receive. It's something we nurture. It's the result of time, trust, shared laughter, shared pain, and unwavering presence. True friendship, especially in our later years, is not about quantity. It's about quality. It's about depth, not width. And more than anything, it's about reciprocity, not what you can get from someone, but what you're willing to give. So ask yourself, who knows your heart and still chooses to stand beside you? Who has seen you at your worst and never used it against you? Who do you miss, but haven't told lately? Reach out to them. Thank them. Forgive them, if necessary. And tell them, with all the warmth in your heart, you matter to me. Because in a world that often values status over sincerity, a true friend is a priceless treasure. And if you find yourself thinking, but I don't have anyone like that, then perhaps today is the day to become that friend for someone else. Be the one who listens. Be the one who remembers birthdays. Be the one who notices when something's wrong. Be the one who shows up. Because friendship in old age is not a luxury. It's a lifeline. Cherish your true friend. Water that relationship like a precious garden. And if life gives you just one such person, hold on to them with both hands. And never let them forget how much they mean to you. The 3 things to let go of for a peaceful life. After all the years you've lived, after the people you've loved, the tears you've shed, the sacrifices you've made, there comes a time when the question changes. It's no longer, what should I chase? But instead, what can I release? Because growing older doesn't just mean collecting more memories. It also means learning the quiet art of letting go. If the first half of life is about building career, family, home, then the second half is about unburdening. Not because we're giving up, but because we finally understand. Peace doesn't come from holding tighter. It comes from releasing wisely. Today, I want to share with you 3 things that many of us carry for far too long. 3 weights that, once released, bring not emptiness but freedom. Let's begin. First, let go of the obsession with money. Don't get me wrong, money matters. It gives us options. It puts food on the table. It provides security. But when money becomes the measure of our self-worth, we begin to lose sight of what truly matters. I've seen this happen time and again. People work themselves into illness, sacrifice relationships, lose their health, all in pursuit of more. And when they finally reach retirement with a full bank account, they discover something heartbreaking. You can buy the best mattress but not restful sleep. You can hire the best doctor but not guarantee healing. You can purchase a house but not a home filled with laughter. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, you've likely learned this lesson already. But here's the challenge. Can you truly live it? Can you stop measuring your worth by your savings? Can you spend without guilt, especially when it brings joy, connection, or ease to those you love? Can you give freely because you've realized that generosity is the real wealth? Money is a tool, not a trophy. So use it. Don't worship it. And if there's someone in your life who needs help, a neighbor, a grandchild, a friend, don't wait for a perfect moment to give. Give while your heart is still warm, your hands still able, and your spirit still alive. Because no one remembers the size of your bank account when you're gone. But they will remember the warmth you gave. Second, let go of other people's opinions. This one is hard, especially if you've spent a lifetime trying to do the right thing, be the good person, and respect. But here's the quiet truth. No matter what you do, someone will always misunderstand you. Someone will always have something to say. And someone will always judge you without knowing your story. So what then? You have 2 choices. You can live your life walking on eggshells, trying to please everyone, explain yourself, fit into expectations that were never yours to begin with. Or you can free yourself. You can begin to ask, what do I want? What brings me peace? What matters to me? You can stop apologizing for being who you are. You can wear what makes you feel beautiful. You can pursue hobbies that spark joy even if others think they're silly. You can walk slowly. Speak gently. Laugh loudly. You can live your truth without needing anyone's permission. Because at this stage in life, your opinion about yourself matters far more than theirs. And remember, those who truly love you don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be you. underscore 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 underscore. Third, let go of the fear of loss and change. This might be the heaviest burden of all. As we age, we experience more loss. Friends pass away. Our bodies change. Roles shift. Children move out. Holidays feel emptier. The mirror reflects someone we don't fully recognize. And it hurts. Of course it does. But if we hold on to the past with clenched fists, we miss the beauty still blooming around us. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means making space for new kinds of joy. It means allowing yourself to laugh again even after grief. It means stepping outside even if you walk slower than you used to. It means opening your heart even after it's been bruised. Life will always bring change. But change isn't the enemy. The enemy is the belief that nothing good can come after what you've lost. I've met 80-year-olds who started painting for the first time. I've met 75-year-olds who fell in love again. I've met widows who traveled the world. I've met retirees who found deeper friendships in a quiet book club than they ever had in the boardroom. Your story is not over. And when you release the fear that your best days are behind you, you open the door to discover that some of your richest, deepest, most meaningful moments may still be ahead. So today, I ask you gently, can you let go of the idea that your life should look a certain way? Can you release the old burdens and carry only what still gives you life? Can you stop chasing and begin cherishing? Let go not because you've given up, but because you've grown wise enough to know not everything deserves a place in your heart. And once you let go, something beautiful happens. You breathe easier. You sleep deeper. You smile more often. You live more freely. That is the quiet joy of release. What truly remains? So here we are, dear friend. We've walked through the quiet corridors of the soul together today. We've spoken of the 5 people you must hold close and the 3 burdens you're finally allowed to put down. And as we come to the end of this reflection, I want to leave you with something simple. Something soft but strong. You still matter. Not because of your title. Not because of your achievements. Not because of what you own or what you've lost. You matter because your life has meaning. Because your presence carries history. Because your heart still has the capacity to love, to grow, and to give no matter your age. Too many people over 50 begin to disappear quietly. They stop speaking up. Stop believing they are needed. Stop expecting joy. But you, if you're reading this, if you're listening, you haven't disappeared. You've simply been waiting for a quiet reminder. This is it. The truth is, aging isn't a decline. It's a refinement. It's the gentle process of becoming more of who you truly are. And when you choose to cherish the right people, your parents, your children, your partner, your teachers, and your true friends, you carry forward the most sacred parts of the human experience. When you choose to release money obsession, other people's opinions, and the fear of loss, you free yourself to live the life that still belongs to you. Not the life others expect. Not the life you once planned. But the one that's here, now waiting for your full presence. So I leave you with this question. What will you choose to hold, and what are you finally ready to let go? Take a moment. Reflect. And when you're ready, speak. Leave a comment below. Whether it's a thought, a memory, a question, or even a silent thank you, your voice matters here. And if this message touched something in you, big or small, please share this video with someone you love. Let them feel what you felt. Most importantly, subscribe to this channel. Because this is just one of many conversations we'll share. Each one crafted with care, wisdom, and the quiet hope that you'll walk away feeling a little lighter, a little more seen, a little more whole. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, not just with your ears but with your heart. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. Take time to call someone you love. And remember, what you cherish, you become. Follow our channel for more messages like this one. Wishing you a peaceful day filled with warmth, clarity, and meaning.